내가 이 라방을 시작한 이유는 유명해지기 위해서였어.
An Instagram influencer strikes back from beyond the grave, broadcasting a chilling message of revenge against her bully. Stepping into a restaurant, we follow Sawari as she explains to us how, as a social media influencer, one single picture in her hands can make any business a success. With a staggering 1.3 million followers, although Ari's life seems glamorous, she admits that it was a series of unfortunate events that led her to this point. So, if you're ready, Sayawari is about to teach a masterclass on how to selfie your way to success. In the past, Ari had been working as a door-to-door salesperson for an obscure beauty brand, so busy that she had no time for herself, never mind social media. Her best friend, Yoon Jung-sun, is the polar opposite, and right now the topic that takes up most of her attention is the feud between the Instagram influencers, Beanie Mom and Wangrora, whose fight has become a massive issue within the Gabon Society, a group of high-profile social media personalities. According to the rumors, Beanie Imam and Wangrora used to be friends, but everything changed when another influencer, named Minhye, started looking down on Beanie Imam. As the situation escalates, the Gabon Society women, who include Yoon Si-hyun, Oh Minhye, Jin Tae-hee, Angela, Gina, Han Yurang, Beanie Mom, and Wangrora, plan a meeting to discuss what is going on, not inviting Beanie Mom. Later that day, Sayawari is coincidentally sent to Yoon Si-hyun's home to sell the makeup products, only to end up hiding in a closet when Si-hyun returns early. Shocked to see the level of luxury that people like Yoon Si-hyun are living in, it's here that we learn that Ari actually came from a wealthy family, but they went bankrupt, leaving her to work countless part-time jobs to pay the bills. Still hiding in the cupboard, Ari overhears a discussion between Si-hyun and her husband, Jin Tae-jun, aka the CEO of the powerful Taegang law firm, about the ongoing social media feud. Back at home that night, Ari, still thinking about the conversation that she had overheard, installs Instagram out of curiosity. The next day at the mall, Ari and Jung-sun run into Oh Min-hye, who just so happens to be an old schoolmate who went to high school with Ari. Meeting for the first time since their school days, Ari is surprised to see Minhee, who had grown up underprivileged, now an influencer, and not ashamed of flaunting her wealth. Minhee, on the other hand, unaware that Ari's family doesn't have money anymore, brags to her friend about how Ari goes to an Ivy League school. Still thinking that Ari is wealthy, that night Minhee invites Ari to come to one of the influencer's high-profile parties. Hesitant, Ari ends up agreeing, even wearing one of her mom's clients' beautiful white dresses. Her mom is a dry cleaner and clothes mender, to the event. However, little does Ari know that that dress is one of a kind and belongs to Si-hyun, the only person who was able to get that one dress in the whole of Korea. Rolling up to the party, Ari isn't even in the door yet before she runs into a wealthy man named Han Jung-young. Mistaking him for a pervert and threatening to call the police, Ari is surprised when Jung-young responds by giving her his number. For the rest of the night, Jung-young can't take his eyes off of Sayawari. Already flustered, Ari's night doesn't get any more relaxed, especially when Kei-hee, Taejun's younger sister, notices her dress and everyone starts asking where she got it. After Si-hyun herself steps in, Ari finally interrupts Minhye's bragging and admits that her family actually went bankrupt. But the women barely have time to worry about that when Beanie Mom storms in and, walking up to Minhee, slaps her across the face, calling her out for using her audience to become an influencer and then dumping her when she no longer needed to piggyback on her clout. Back to the present, the Gabon Society members are shocked to see present-day Sayawari go live, stirring up old scandals. They all thought Ari had died. In the live stream, present Sayawari continues her masterclass on the dynamics of social media, explaining how these popular influencers leverage their relentless pursuit of attention to grow their fame, wealth, power, and influence. As she continues to live stream, the Gabon Society women are in crisis mode. Talking together, the women can't quite be sure whether her videos are pre-recorded or if she really is back. But Si-hyun is convinced that the way that Ari is interacting with the comments shows that she is very much alive and actively targeting them. What dirt does Ari have on the Gabon society that they are so afraid of what she might say? Back to the party, we see that after Binimom slapped Minhye, Ari stands up for Minhye, but it ends up totally backfiring on her because the next thing Binimom does is pour red wine all over her dress. Well, not her dress, but you know what I mean. Slapping Binimom and also pouring a drink over her, Ari ends up grabbing Jungyoung's attention once again, as well as the eye of celebrity agent Ju Sung-hyuk. But despite Sung-hyuk introducing himself, Ari is far too stressed and tired to worry about any new characters, and instead goes straight home to her mom, who can't believe that in a matter of a few hours, Ari managed to wreck her dress. Her 12 million won dress. But the next morning, after agreeing to meet Seung-hyuk, Ari is intrigued by his pitch. Promising to make her a celebrity, Ari privately wonders if she has what it takes to be part of this world. Coming back home, Ari is taken aback to see none other than Si-hyun outside her mom's clothing shop, ready to pick up her wine-stained dress. Apologizing profusely and offering to pay for the dress, with money she definitely doesn't have, Ari and her mom couldn't be more surprised when Si-hyun says that it's okay and simply leaves, accepting her apology. Driving away, we learn that the dress was actually a present from someone, and it was something Si-hyun couldn't get rid of even after she got married to Tae-jun. However, this won't be the last time that Ari sees Si-hyun. In fact, just a short while later, Ari ends up getting dragged into a live steam with Minhee, as well as some of the other Gabon society ladies, including Si-hyun, to make it look like everything is right as rain after the drama at the party. In the live stream, Minhee introduces Ari and shows off Ari's makeup products. But Ari couldn't be more upset. It's not her job to clean up Minhee's reputation. And plus, Minhee promoting her makeup felt more demeaning than kind. Calling Ari jealous of her success, Minhee tells Ari that she should be grateful for the free promo. Later, we see Ari getting called to the police station, where she spots Jungyoung. What's happening now? As it turns out, Jungyoung, unable to stand the fact that Seoari was ignoring his DMs, had turned himself into the police as a suspect in a sexual harassment case. Remember when they'd first met, Ari had threatened to call the police on him, thinking that he was a pervert, all to get Ari's attention. Misinterpreting his actions as an attempt to intimidate her, Ari, right there and then, decides to actually report him for harassment to prove a point. Having a sucky night, at least Ari's mood lifts when she learns from Jong-sun that Minhee's marketing stunt had actually really boosted the sales of her beauty products, proving just how impactful these influencers can be. In fact, the next day, Ari is taken aback by the surge in sales. Realizing the stunning power of social media, Jong-sun starts managing Ari's Instagram account, and she makes it look like Ari is living some kind of luxurious lifestyle. It works, and brands and sponsorships start flooding in. With her Instagram suddenly blowing up, Sung-hyuk offers Ari a makeover and a bunch of tips on how to gain followers. All she needs to do is cross the 10,000 follower mark, and then she's golden. At the same time, Si-hyun goes to Jungyoung's mother to ask for her support for a charity auction event that is coming up. Apparently, Jungyoung's mom had really wanted Si-hyun and Jungyoung to get married. Did Jungyoung and Si-hyun have some kind of past together? Meanwhile, having made a deal with Ari, Sung-hyuk gets straight to business and calls up Minhye, who he also manages. Sung-hyuk explains to Minhye that Seoari is the perfect person to replace Binimom as her bestie. Deciding to put her own pride aside, Minhye agrees and invites Ari to the upcoming charity event. But, when the day of the charity auction finally dawns, it's one mess after another. First, Minhye gives Ari and Jong-sun the wrong starting time, and next they realize that all the items being sold are luxury products compared to what they had brought. Luckily, Si-hyun is super classy and totally understands. However, Si-hyun seems to be the only one with any grace in this world, as all the other Gabon society women simply tease them, both behind their backs and to their faces. The day only gets more complicated when Ari runs into Jungyoung, who had seen that she was at the event and had come to find her. When Jung-young reaches out to help her after Ari trips over the suitcase of stuff she'd brought, everyone in the room is stunned. They'd all been mocking her. But here is the most popular bachelor giving her a hand and even offering her a ride home. Back in the present, Detective Jang Hyun-soo, who has been connected to this case for a while, shows up at Minhye's place and is surprised when Minhye calls Sewari a jealous bitch and claims that everything in the live stream is a lie. At the same time, present-day Sewari starts to talk on the live stream about a post that she uploaded at the time that caused a massive scandal. You see, that night, coming home from the charity auction, her skin still stinging from the mocking glares that she was shot by the other influencers, Ari had taken a shot in the dark and uploaded a text post about how much she didn't like fakeness and social media validation, prompting everyone to wonder, was she talking about the Gabon Society? Reading the post, Kehee insists that Minhye must be the one to manage the situation. After all, it had been Minhye who had brought Sewari into their circle and into the limelight in the first place. Apparently, it had only been Jung-young who seemed to like Ari's post. Forced to respond, all the Gabon Society women start their own live streams and argue that Ari is just jealous. Called to Sung-hyuk's office, Ari and Minnie agree to call off their fake friendship, and privately, Sung-hyuk warns Ari that she has crossed the line by posting her thoughts and potentially going up against the Gabon Society women. After this meeting, Ari suddenly gets a message from an Instagram account named BB Famous. After chatting with the account, suddenly the tides shift, and powerful profiles start backing Ari, which, naturally, leads her to gain followers again, most notably Jung-young, who chooses to make Sewari the only account he follows. As a powerful chaebol, the fact that Jung-young chose to, so publicly, side with Ari is a big deal. Meeting with Ari, Jung-young explains that not only did he follow her out of curiosity, but he's also interested in her. In fact, Jung-young has the nickname Princess Maker. This isn't the first time that Jung-young has had his eye on a girl lower in status. Ari is offended. Who did this spoilt chaebol think he was? But although she might not like it, all of Jung-young's attention is having a positive effect on Ari's burgeoning social media career, like when his company invites her as an influencer to one of their events, which seriously annoys Minhye and the rest of the Gabon Society women, who start to think that Sewari must be seducing Jung-young. Little do they know that it's the other way around. After Jung-young's party, Sewari starts to enjoy being an influencer. She's been getting a lot of free stuff, and when her brother, Do-sung, comes back from military service, the family celebrates Ari's new success. When Jung-young invites Ari for lunch and she brings Jung-sun with her, he's annoyed. He thought it was just going to be them two. Leaving Jung-sun in the restaurant, Jung-young whisks Ari to his fancy house. Bickering all the way, when they arrive, Ari is flabbergasted to see that Jung-young has someone who helps take off his shoes. The lunch at Jung-young's house ends with Ari rejecting his advances and criticizing his lifestyle. Jung-young, although surprised, accepts her decision, saying that he isn't about to change how he lives. If he did, the woman who takes off his shoes wouldn't have a job. Sewari leaves feeling unsatisfied. Deciding to take her account to the next level, Ari starts her own clothing shop, selling local clothes from the Dongdaemun wholesale market. At the same time, Ari also meets with Angela, who offers her help in smoothing things over between Ari and Kehee. Despite seeming nice, Ari is suspicious. Later that night, Ari looks Angela up online. Apparently she used to be a call girl, which was how she had met her husband. There is a rumor that she still meets clients because her husband won't give her any of his stores of cash. BB Famous also lets Ari in on some other secrets, like how Jin-na is selling fake luxury items, or how Minhye's husband, Myung-ho, is scamming people with his car dealership. Nonetheless, Ari decides that there is no reason to turn down Angela's kindness for now, and so the next day, Ari joins Angela at the club where Kehee is partying. Heading into the club's private room, Ari is shocked to see that, hidden away in the dark back rooms of the Aragon Club, Kehee has been getting high on a cocktail of drugs and alcohol. Ari feels disgusted, especially when she gets caught in a selfie with Angela and Kehee. The photo is posted, and you can clearly see that Kei is high as a kite. Furious that Angela led her there without preparing her for what she was about to walk into, Ari can't believe what she is seeing. Kei is so out of it that she can't even stand up or string a sentence together. Seeing the photo, Taejun, Jingyoung, and Sihyun, who had actually been out to dinner together, race to the club. Running into Ari as she is trying to leave, Jungyoung misunderstands the situation and takes back his proposal to her. He doesn't want anything to do with a druggie. But before she can explain, suddenly one of the men collapses. He isn't breathing. Ari tries to call the police, but Sihyun and Taejun stop her. When Taejun secretly arranges an ambulance, they all quietly sneak out the back door. Back to the present, Detective Jang Hyun-soo presses his boss to investigate the drug incident that Seoari is talking about in her livestream, but his boss, who is on Taejun's payroll, says that it is a waste of time since they don't even know if Ari is alive or not. How will they ever find out what really happened? Well, Seoari knows. You see, after the man collapsed, the group quickly moved him into an ambulance, Sihyun, all the while, begging Ari not to involve the police, begging Ari to trust her. Although Sihyun later learns from her husband that the man is in a state of shock, but hasn't died yet, Ari, on the other hand, wrestles with her decision not to call the police. Did the fact that her Instagram was blowing up really not affect her decision-making? Or did she secretly want what went down in the back room of the Aragon Club to stay hidden as well? A few days later, Jungyoung and Taejun interrupt a meeting between Sihyun and Seoari, and Taejun demands that Ari sign a non-disclosure agreement about what happened that night, threatening her if she says no. Despite his intimidation, Ari does say no and walks out, with Jungyoung following her. Regardless of the fact that Ari keeps telling him that she wants absolutely nothing to do with him, Jungyoung again asks Ari to let him protect her. At the same time, Sihyun watches as Ari and Jungyoung talk. Even her husband can tell that she is bothered by how close Jukyung seems to Ari. A while later, Jungyoung confronts Taejun about the man from the party, who is now in a coma and is being treated at one of the Gabon Society ladies' husbands' plastic surgery hospitals. Jungyoung demands that Taejun clean up his mess and keep Ari out of it. At the same time, as Seoari's online thrift shop flourishes, Kaihee, who you'd have thought would have caused enough trouble by this point, and Minhye scheme to sabotage her business. Specifically, Minhye orchestrates a plan to block Ari's orders by using a clothing vendor named Hwang Yuri. Forced into a corner, Ari goes to BB Famous, and, ready with new information, heads to confront Yuri. While playing cards, Ari reveals to Yuri that she knows that Yuri has been selling her body and charging men to sleep with her. Yuri is stunned. Leaving Yuri's place, Ari runs into a man named Ba Gyungbae. Now managing a small textile factory, Gyungbae used to work for Ari's father, and meeting Ari, he offers his help with her shop. Seeing his offer of help as a chance to rebound from her recent setbacks, Ari accepts. As Ari takes a hiatus from social media to regroup, the Gabon Society women celebrate what they believe to be her downfall. But, unbeknownst to them, during this period, Ari continues to talk to BB Famous. Specifically, she goes and finds Angela. Catching her with a client, Ari blackmails Angela into giving her her invitation to a famous Balmain event and fashion show. Thinking that Ari was gone from their lives, imagine the Gabon Society women's surprise when Seoari shows up, front row. Specifically, Taehee and Minhye are stunned that Ari has been able to rise the ranks so quickly. Ignoring Jungyoung's stares, Ari makes the most of the Balmain event, and even connects with Choi Bom, a renowned model. Having chosen her outfit to on purpose stand out to Choi Bom, Ari's plan works, and Choi Bom's endorsement revitalizes and boosts Ari's clothing store, which now features her own line that she has been able to develop thanks to Gyungbae. As Ari's success grows and grows, she reaches out to Jungyoung's company. She's finally ready to work with him. Of course, he eagerly says yet. With their amazing chemistry, when Jungyoung asks Ari to give him another chance to prove how sincere he is about her and kisses her, she kisses back. In her live stream, Present-day Seoari reflects on the choices that led to how her life turned out. At the same time, we see Taejun and his plastic surgeon friend trying to keep the man from the Aragon Club incident alive. Now working with Jung Young's company, Hue Cosmetics, Seoari starts going on a mini press tour to promote the products. Her newfound success even allows her to rent a fancy new home for her family. Solidifying her spot at the top of the game, Ari's influence just grows more and more, making her one of the favored partners for luxury brands. But of course, this is hardly good news for the Gabon society ladies. In fact, Ari's success is stirring straight-up resentment among Minhee, Taejun, and Kehee. Another person who is starting to get annoyed with Ari is her best friend Jong-sun. When Seung-hyuk suggests that Ari take more easy money deals and Ari refuses, Jong-sun is frustrated. Why is Ari only thinking about herself? Jong-sun is getting jealous. Plus, she is starting to feel like Ari's lofty morals are a bit pretentious. On her way to another charity event hosted by Si-hyun, Ari almost runs over a mysterious young woman. Once inside, Ari is, once again, the center of attention, pissing off Minhye and Kehee. Confronting Kehee when she hears her gossiping, Ari just watches as Kehee tries to attack her and ends up embarrassing herself. Amidst the chaos, Jung-young, Si-hyun, Ari, and Taejun's attentions are drawn away from the party when the mysterious young woman that Ari almost ran over from before starts getting dragged out of the club. As we learn, she was the sister of the man who died from the drugs he took at the Aragon Club, and she refuses to believe the media's story that her brother took his own life. Finally finding out what happened, Si-hyun can't believe that her husband could cover up a situation like this. Leaving the club, Jung-young takes Ari home. Driving through the Seoul streets, he confesses his feelings for her. Looking back in hindsight, present-day Ari notes how, driving together with Jung-young that night, was her last moment of peace. A few days later, Seoari starts getting borderline threatening messages from BB Famous that interrogate Ari about why she wasn't answering right away, etc. Finding the situation ridiculous, Ari tells Bibi Famous that it's about time that she finds out who they are. At the same time, Si-hyun goes to meet Jung-young, and he confirms that Taejun is covering up what happened to the Aragon Club man. Here we also find out what went down between Si-hyun and Jung-young. As it turns out, a couple of years ago, they had been secretly in love. It had been Jung-young who had given Si-hyun that white dress to begin with, and recognizing the dress was also part of the reason that Ari caught his attention that first night. However, Si-hyun's parents wanted her with someone who could boost her dad's political career. When, one night, Jung-young overhears Si-hyun arguing with her parents, he responds that it's okay and she can choose. Si-hyun took this to mean that he didn't care about her or their relationship, and so she broke it off. Back to Seoari, distracted and busy with planning a collaboration with a Chinese influencer named Zheng Wei behind her back. BBB Famous is approaching Kehee to form an alliance against her. Back to the present, Kehee, distraught about Seoari's non-stop livestream, goes back to the Aragon Club, getting high on their drugs. But Kehee is not the only one bothered by the livestream. In fact, Minhee's shop has been closed thanks to all the rumors, and, overwhelmed, Minhee has started downing pills as the internet enjoys watching her collapse. Despite Minhee's husband trying to convince his wife that Taejun will come to their rescue, Taejun is in the middle of struggling with his own troubles. Specifically, Taejun can't believe that his team hasn't been able to find Ari yet. Shortly after the Balmain event, somebody leaks what happened to the Aragon Club man online, and that person turns out to be Minhee. Having pieced the story together through rumors and a series of overheard conversations, Minhee had leaked what happened. But, when she finds out that Taejun is on the hunt for the person who has shared the story, she realizes that her plan has backfired and starts to try and fix her mistake. Meeting with Seoari, Si-hyun tells her that she believes that Taejun should take the blame for what happened at the Aragon Club, but Ari argues that, since they were all involved, no one person should take the fall. Climbing the stairs in her office after her meeting with Si-hyun, Ari walks right into Jung-sun, who is busy selling the exact same easy money products that Ari had turned down. Feeling betrayed, Ari and Jung-sun start arguing. The next day, despite it being Sewari and Jongwei's highly anticipated collab event, Jung-sun is nowhere to be seen. And to make matters worse, Detective Jang Hyun-soo shows up, wanting to know if Ari really had nothing to do with what happened that night at the Aragon Club. She was in the photo with Chan-hee and Angela after all. Not revealing anything, Ari goes back to her event, and despite the site briefly crashing, it's a huge success as all 1 million products sell out in 5 minutes. But as everyone celebrates after the event, Ari, on the other hand, goes straight to Detective Jang Hyun-soo and, switching off her phone, starts telling him everything that happened. Flashbacks show that after Sewari's great triumph with Jong Wei, the Gabon Society members, except for Si-hyun of course, had gone to their normal spa place and had a meeting. While getting their massages, the women plot Ari's ruin and agree that, although Kei should lead the charge against Ari, especially since she is also in cahoots with BB Famous, Minhee will have to be the one to take down Ari since Kei is being forced to go offline. When a spa worker comes in, they rudely send her away. As for Ari, having told the police everything, she goes to ask Jungbae to halt production for now and goes to tell Si-hyun what she has done. Si-hyun, suspecting this will bring trouble, warns Jung-young to prepare for the fallout. Someone else who also finds out about Ari's conversation with the detective is Tae-jun. Naturally, he responds by pressuring the police commissioner to move Detective Jang Hyun-soo to another department. Meanwhile, Minhye, blissfully unaware that Tae-jun has found out that she was the one who leaked what happened at the Aragon Club online, excitedly bonds with BB Famous. Later, Ari is perplexed to find that her conversations with BB Famous are all over the internet. But even worse, they were altered to make her look like she was on purpose coming for the Gabon Society influencers. Everyone online starts going after Sewari, especially her newly formed and highly successful hate clubs. At the same time, Tae-jun goes to threaten Minhye and her husband. He knows that they have been running a scam, and he can put them behind bars for it. In exchange for saving the couple, Tae-jun demands that Minhye publicly accuse Ari of faking the post about the Aragon Club man dying. When Minhye's livestream goes viral, Ari can't believe that they are making her their scapegoat. Equally furious, Jung-young storms into Tae-jun's office while he is in the middle of talking to Si-hyun and announces that he is officially suing him on Ari's behalf. Plus, Jung-young says that he is more than prepared to give his own testimony to the police about what happened that night. As Jung-young leaves, Tae-jun calls Young-tae. He wants Jung-young dead. Back to Ari, just as Gyung-bae calls to tell her how everyone is returning their orders thanks to the BB Famous chats that have wrecked her reputation, she arrives at the police station because the police have finally found who has been trolling her. Walking instead, Ari can't believe whose face she sees. Sitting in the station is none other than Jung-sun. Also headed to the station, Jung-young suddenly sees a white truck plummeting towards him, and then, in a big crash, his car is hit. Present Sewari turns to the livestream camera asking, "Did you all enjoy watching my pain?" At the police station, Sewari is still reeling from the shock that one of her haters was actually her best friend. Jung-soon tries to explain how Ari's success had started to make her feel small, and how she has tried to reverse the damage by defending Ari. But nothing she can say will numb the shock and betrayal that is burning in Ari's chest. Meanwhile, present-day Sewari's livestream has captured the attention of the mainstream media, while Detective Jang Hyun-soo continues to push his boss to reopen the case, convinced that Tae-jun had covered up crucial evidence. As if to prove the detective's point, at the Taegang office, in a frantic bid to cover his tracks, Tae-jun is busy ordering everyone in his company to shred their documents. Back in the past, Ari is starting to feel like her world is falling apart, especially when she finds out about both Jung-young's accident and that Gyung-bae's has taken his own life, having blamed himself for the downfall of the company. Everyone online is blaming Sewari. Confronting her husband, Seon tells Tae-jun how horrified she is that he is making Sewari the culprit in his mess, and promises to not only testify against him, but to file for divorce. despite Taejun threatening to release all the incriminating information he has on Sehyun's father. At the hospital, Ari visits Jungyoung and, seeing him lie in the hospital bed after his surgery, she realizes how much she really likes Jungyoung, internally regretting that she never expressed her feelings before. Also having come to visit Jungyoung, Sehyun finds Ari on the hospital roof, about to jump, and persuades her to stay strong. In the present, the police and Taejun's men both find Sewari's location at the same time. Also driving to Ari is Jungyoung, who, upon arriving at the location, breaks down the door, but instead of seeing Ari, he finds Jong-sun. As it turns out, Jong-sun has been using AI to look and sound like Ari this whole time. A flashback shows Sewari driving her car into the water. Was that how Ari died? Next, we follow a woman named Yoon-hae as she goes to get her hair done before going to church. At church, she explains to the other women that she has just come back from a trip, and they head out for lunch, where Yoon-hae listens to them talk about everything that has been happening with the Sewari live streams. As night falls, Yoon-hae takes a taxi, but although she brags to the driver about her mansion, instead of heading to her luxurious home, she walks to a dilapidated house infested with pests and cluttered with rubbish. As we watch Eun-hae listen back to a recording of her conversation over lunch, things start slotting into place. Yoon-hae had been Bibib famous. She had picked up the Gabon Society women's gossip because she was one of the women who worked at their favorite spa. Meanwhile, Detective Jang Hyun-soo goes to tell his boss that it had been Jong-sun, along with Do Seong, who had been behind the live streams. Turning himself in, Do Seong explains that they wanted revenge for Ari and were hoping to get people talking about everything that Taejun had done. Watching the news and feeling the target closing in on them, Min-hye and her husband try to run abroad but are betrayed by the wife of the plastic surgeon, who felt stabbed in the back when she learned that it had been Min-hee who'd leaked what happened with the Aragon clubman. At the same time, Kae-hee is arrested for drug use, and Angela's husband abandons her after he finds out that she has still been taking clients. As for Taejun, well, even when the plastic surgeon confesses, he believes that he will be fine. However, when the public calls for the police to look into Taegang, and Young-tae admits that Taejun asked him to kill Jungyoung, the story starts to change, and Taejun gets arrested. In a dramatic twist, we learn that Sewari is, in fact, alive, having orchestrated the scandal while in hiding. However, she still has one last person to confront: Yoon-hae. Booking her at the spa, Ari faces Yoon-hae, demanding answers. As Yoon-hae, overwhelmed by the situation, stands by the window, ready to jump, she explains that she was pissed off by all the bragging of the influencers that she saw on social media. Although she tries to commit suicide, Yoon-hae ends up surviving. With Bibib famous now having to take responsibility for the mess that she caused, and the Gabon Society ladies having gotten what they deserve, Ari's family is reunited, and Ari chooses to leave her social media life in the past. In fact, the only person that she keeps in touch with is Jungyoung, who it seems like she is dating, and who is over the moon happy that she is alive. Celebrity ends with a cleaner finding Sewari's fan account on a tablet in Yoon-hae's house.